All right, we have some news breaking right now. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has pulled security clearances for a host of former Biden officials. She has just posted this on X, which is up and running again. Per POTUS directive, I have revoked security clearances and barred access to classified information for Antony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Lisa Monaco, Mark Zaid, Norman Eisen, Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, and Andrew Weissman, along with 51 signers of the Hunter Biden disinformation letter. You remember, obviously, that in October of 2020, right before the election, 51 former security intelligence officials said that they thought that what was on the Biden laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, had sort of the aura of disinformation. So they will no longer have any access to intelligence. Classified briefings will not be provided to former President Biden either. Happening now at the trial that is the trial for the men accused. All right, let's bring in Mike Pompeo with us. Sorry about that. Good to have you with us. Obviously, former director of the CIA and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Sir, your reaction to the revoking of all of those clearances, including for President Biden?
Oh, Martha, it's great to be with you. Look, presidents have a wide degree of latitude to make sure and protect classified information. It's not only their right, but their responsibility and duty. And so President Trump is concerned that these folks present a risk. He has every right and indeed needs to make sure they don't have access to information that can damage our country. And I heard most of the list, Martha. The 51 folks who signed that letter all knew better. They knew precisely what they were doing. They were engaged in political warfare using the veneer of their former roles as intelligence officials to lend credibility to an idea that they fundamentally knew couldn't have been true, right? We knew this was really Hunter Biden's laptop. We knew exactly what was on it. This wasn't Russian disinformation. And they chose a different path, a political path. And for that, the president has to hold these individuals accountable. It sounds like this is at least part of doing that.
Yeah, they lent their name and their credibility to a political letter in order to cast doubt on whether or not it might have been more of the Russia hoax, right? So by doing that, they linked it in to that entire operation, essentially, and they put their names on it. So I think it's not surprising that has been, that they will no longer have security clearance. What about former presidents? How long do they usually maintain that access for?
You know, I think the norm is that they have it for the rest of their lives. And so this is outside of the norm. I have some recollection that President Biden wasn't particularly generous in offering support to President Trump on this too. I actually think that's unfortunate. I think former presidents ought to continue to be people who can be valued and trusted. Maybe that relationship is just so bad, or maybe for whatever reason they've each made different decisions. But I think the norm is to continue it. One other thought about the 51, Martha, that I think is really important. This was right in the middle of the campaign. This is in October. This is right before the debate when President Biden was already in deep trouble. And so the politics around this, not just the Democrat-Republican politics, but the electoral politics around there, the effort to shape the outcome of an election was intentional and known and real. And for that, that is deeply troubling for someone who was an intelligence official who did his level best to just get the facts right. To politicize this in that way is fundamentally indecent.
Yeah, it would have been nice if the people who signed that letter, when approached about it, said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mess with an electoral process, but they didn't. They went ahead and signed it. So there are consequences for that today. Secretary Pompeo, always great to see you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Martha.
You bet.